Hello everyone, thank you for joining me once again for another watercolor painting video. I'm Joe Menza and thank you for joining me in my little lunchtime painting here. And for this painting here I'm using 90-pound Fabriano, and you'll have to forgive me, I couldn't find a board to put behind my paper, so it's kind of flimsy looking, but we'll work around it. We'll just show what it's like to work sort of with some limitations. If you're using this at home, tape it down to a board or something like that, and you'll have a much easier time. Now, what I'm doing here is I've put some yellow ochre, raw sienna, and I'm using some ultramarine blue, some alizarin crimson. I'm just trying to put a lot of dark colors into this sky for a sort of a twilight effect. And the reason I'm doing it this way is because I'm going to blend it in, add a little bit of white, and create just a soft, sort of an evening twilight type sky. So just adding a little bit of white gouache. And we'll come back with a softer brush and just kind of blend that all in. Now you can experiment with different colors and blending. This way you don't have to feel so deliberate when you paint. Try this and try putting on some colors. It's almost like you would blend oil paints. I'm taking the Frank Clark goat hairs. If you have a soft brush like this, you can just kind of blend it in, do it lightly. And when you blend it, you'll notice you come up with a very different looking sky than when you started. Now, if it's a little too dry, you can give it a little spray with a spray bottle. But you'll notice how you come up with a unique sky, and you can continue to add to this and actually build it up if it's not quite exactly what you wanted. So you can come back in, you can add a little more blue, you can leave it the way it is right now. I want it just a little bit darker, so I'm going to add some ultramarine blue with some Payne's gray. And just in and around, just put some colors, give it a spray, and then I'm just going to blend that in. So if this is something, if you've had a trouble with skies and you kind of want an easy way just to kind of blend and have a little fun, give this a try. Now you'll lose a lot of that color blending it like that, so to experiment a little bit. You can always re-wet it. Eventually you might end up with a totally gray sky if you're not careful. So just, use the back of a painting if you want to give this kind of way a try. And just adding a little more white. And this will all fade back quite a bit. So I'm just taking out a little bit of paint here. Just playing around a little bit. Sometimes as you go, you'll notice what you planned or what you tried needs a little tweaking. Just taking a little tissue here. Just rubbing that out a little bit. And just coming in with the soft brush and blending it. And you can do all this while it's still wet. And I'm just going to try to get open up that middle a little bit. Add a little bit of yellow. Try to get some light coming in. And I'm just going to put some light colors in all the way down to the bottom of the paper. Okay, now I'm just going to go a little darker still in the sky here. Just try to layer it up a little bit. Not the simplest sky for beginners, but something if you want to get a different look or just show how far you can push something. So I'm taking a synthetic brush and just doing a little blending with that. All of a sudden I start recording and my voice wants to kind of get hoarse. They say drink water, and you drink water, it seems to just make your throat drier. You ever have that happen? Anyways, I'm blending in a little bit more white toward the bottom here. There's easier ways to paint skies, obviously. You can lay them in very quickly, but this blending, it gives you an opportunity to do a lot of little different things. It's almost like doing an oil painting and trying to blend in a nice sky. It's not as easy because the way the paint dries out, but it definitely can give you like a soft, interesting looking sky, a different looking sky than you see in a lot of typical watercolors. So you see now we've got a very nice, interesting looking sky here. And now I'm going to come back in with more of that Payne's Gray, Ultramarine Blue mix just at the corners. Try to just darken things along the edges. And my flimsy paper is hanging over the side. I need a nice board to put on this paper holder. When I started filming, I didn't realize how this thing was going to just start wrapping itself around the edges. But that's okay. We'll make the best of it. I actually have a couple of portable easels. I have a Soho box. I don't know why I just don't bring that to work with me. There's always tomorrow, right? So again, putting in a little bit more of this dark. I know it looked pretty good before, but I know it's going to dry back even more. So I'm just going to layer this on top even more. So a nice dry brush with a... If it gets too dry, just spray a little water on there. Just like I did now, I just sprayed a little from my bottle. And just coming back in with a soft brush and just doing the blending thing, blending into that white that's down there. And we'll probably have a couple of trees along the sides too, so it's not that critical for the, just kind of in the middle here. Just a little bit more white here. And just trying to get those corners so you're not going off the edge of the paper with light. And you experiment around with this. I'm sure you can do better than I can. This is just to give you some idea. Just the fun you can have with it. I mean, a lot of people stress out and they try to do clouds and they try to do, and it doesn't quite come out right. And just to show you the flexibility of it all, that you can fool around with it. I mean, in a sense, it's almost like you're fussing with it, but you can just play, you know, and that's the important thing of it is, you know, you're having a good time. That's what you want to do. You want to have a good time with it. So now I'm going to come in with the medium hake or hake brush, the Ron Ranson goat hair based brush. And I'm just going to dab in some little mountains here. Same colors as the sky, alizarin crimson, ultramarine blue, little Payne's gray. We're going to make that nice and dark because we're going to do everybody's little favorite trick and pull out the credit card. And I'll zoom in a little here. You can see the old scraping trick we all enjoy. And give it a little blast with the old spray bottle. A little texture. And just come in a little darker on the shadow side. Same colors, just a little richer. Okay, and there's what we have so far. Keep in mind that upper area is going to dry back, and I've lost some of the yellow there, so I'm going to have to come back and do something with that. I mean, the yellow up top is like totally gone now, and I'll show you how I address that issue. So I'm going to put some foreground in here. That's a little bit dark. Go a little too dark, give it a little blast. And just come in a little lighter. Same thing, sky colors again. Just to keep a theme going. Try to keep some of that light area. Try to keep some of the light area underneath the second layer of paint so that it shows through. So when you put that first layer down, you could put a brighter layer down that shows through when you put other stuff on top. So just like the white, you want to leave a little bit to show through. And it creates an interesting dynamic and an interesting counter change. And sometimes things happen you didn't really even plan. Now I'm going to dress that area up on top here. I'm just going to take a wet brush, apply some water, and then take my tissue, and I'm just going to wipe out a little bit of area here where I'm going to add a little yellow. And actually I'm going to move it over to where I originally had it, because I think it would be nice to come over the top, especially where the yellow ended up underneath. So we're just going in with some cad yellow hue. Now it looks really bright, but it will dry back. And we can blend that in a little bit with a blending brush. Don't worry, I know you're saying, look at that sky. Is it all going to come together? I think it will. So now we're blending it. So if you look at your mountain and you think, wow, it needs something on top, you can do something like that. I'm just going to scrape a little bit more. There'll be a little bit of yellow coming through, shining on the mountainside. And I'm just coming in and adding a little texture, a little grasses maybe. And just touching up a little bit of that mountain so the horizon is somewhat even. I'm going to have a couple of trees there anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So after all, what can we have that really pulls you down into the center of the painting, into the mountain, is to kind of border it around with some trees. So here we come in with my medium fan brush. And some, again, same colors, only this time there's no red. Ultramarine blue, Payne's gray, and some cad yellow. And we're just going to very quickly dab in a pine tree here. A little bit of extra cad yellow on the branches on the sun side. And let's see, I'm just going to move my paper here so it supports what I'm doing. And put a couple smaller pine trees over here. Now, if you go in with a little drier of a brush like I just did, you can sort of lay the bones of the trees and kind of get a shape going. And then come in with a little bit heavier paint. What I've been doing is aiming the sides of the fan brush in an upward position. You look at different pine trees when you drive down the street or you're walking out in nature. Look at some of the pine trees that are out there. Some of the branches go down like their arms are hanging down, and then some they're actually pointing in an upward position. So I'm just taking some of those same colors and just adding a little foreground. So we got those two trees on the side. Really, I mean, one is slightly higher than the other one. I mean, it should have probably been just a little bit taller, but that's okay. You don't really want to make trees like the exact same height. For some reason, it's just not a good idea. So we're nearing the end of this video, believe it or not. I did speed it up a little bit. I know people get mad at me when I do that, but I think you get the gist of it. Otherwise, these videos are just super, super long, and if I go back and I voice over them, sometimes I'm just like, I'm swamped with work and stuff, so it'd be a long video of narration. So, and then, yeah, I won't do them all like that, but I wanted to get this one done and out for you guys to watch. I know everybody's still on lockdown, or some people that are getting ready to go back to work, and I hope everybody stays safe. I thank you for watching. Let's take a little bit of a closer look at this one. Just a quick closer look, and you'll see that nice sky, and then we'll put it in the virtual frame. Here we go, and I think it worked out rather nicely. Thanks again, everyone, for watching.